Bigger, better, fastest, the absolute best. We use these ideas all the time. But how do you actually say them in Arabic? Well, it all comes down to one single powerful grammatical tool. And today, we're going to crack its code. By the end of this, you are going to have the keys to mastering comparison in Arabic. So let's dive in.
So just think about that for a second. In English, it's pretty easy, right? We just tack on an or an ist. But how does Arabic handle this? How does it build the very concept of something being more than something else or the absolute most of its kind? That is the exact puzzle that we are here to solve today.
And the answer, my friends, lies in this one really elegant pattern, al-Tafdeel. Seriously, think of this as the master key for all comparison in the entire language. It's this one single form that unlocks two incredibly powerful functions, comparing two things and declaring one thing the absolute champion. Getting this down is the very first step to breaking the code.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start by identifying our target and learning to tell it apart from a tricky lookalike. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty rules for making comparatives and superlatives. We'll even look at some exceptions, the fine print, if you will, and we'll wrap it all up with a Codebreaker's toolkit so you have everything in one place.
All right, first things first. We have to learn how to spot our target out in the wild. You see, the Af'alu pattern has a bit of a doppelganger, a lookalike that actually has a totally different job. And learning to tell these two apart, well, that's absolutely crucial.
Okay, so here's the secret giveaway. In the masculine, these two patterns look exactly the same. They're identical. But the real clue, the dead giveaway, is in the feminine form. Just look at the difference. Tafdeel, which we use for comparison, takes the fu'la pattern, like kubra, but sifa, for things like colors, uses fa'la, like soda. That difference right there, that's your golden ticket to telling them apart.
So now that we can actually identify al-Tafdeel, let's dig into its two main gigs. It can either compare one thing to another, better than, or it can elevate something to the top, the absolute best.
Think of it like this. The pattern can create what's called Tafdeel Bad, which literally means partial preference. That's our simple comparative, like saying bigger than. Or it can create Tafdeel Kul, meaning total preference. And that's our superlative, the biggest of all. It's the same core pattern, just applied in two totally distinct ways.
All right, let's start with the easier of the two, the comparative. Creating a more than statement in Arabic is actually beautiful in its simplicity. It follows this really straightforward formula, and it all hinges on one tiny little word.
And here's that formula. It's a simple four-step recipe. You start with your subject, then you add the Af'al word. Next, and this is the magic part, you drop in the particle min, which just means then. And finally, you add whatever you're comparing your subject to. It's literally a plug-and-play structure. Let's see it in action.
And this example from Surah Al-Baqarah just shows it perfectly. Look at the structure. The subject, al-fitna, oppression. The Af'alu form, Akbar, greater. The particle, mina, than. And the object being compared, al-qatl, killing. See? It's just that clear-cut.
Okay, I need you to listen very closely, because this is the golden rule of comparatives, and it is a big one. When that little particle min is in the sentence, the Af'al word is totally locked in place. It always stays singular and masculine. I don't care if the subject is feminine or plural or a group of 20 things. It does not change. Just take a look at this table. It proves the point perfectly. Whether the subject is Zayd, a man, or Aisha, a woman, or even an-nisa, women in the plural. Look at the comparative word ajmala, more beautiful. It stays exactly the same. It does not budge. This is such a critical rule to lock in your brain.
So we've totally nailed the more than comparison. Awesome. But what about the most? How do we actually crown something as the absolute best, the champion? Well, for this, Arabic actually gives us two different paths we can take.
So the first method is to basically treat the superlative like a normal adjective. All you do is add the definite article, al, to the F-y'all form. But here's the catch. When you do this, it has to agree completely with the noun it's describing, just like any other adjective would. It has to match in gender, number, and case. And here's a perfect example of that from the Quran. Al-'adhab al-Akbar, the greatest punishment. You see how al-Akbar, the greatest, has the al, and it perfectly matches al-'adhab, the punishment. It's behaving exactly like a regular old adjective here.
Now, the second method is completely different. It uses a special possessive structure, what's known in Arabic grammar as an idafa. In this setup, the Af'al word comes first, and it's followed by a plural noun. The meaning this creates is something like the greatest of the, whatever that plural noun is.
And honestly, this is one of the most beautiful examples out there. Arhamur Rahimin, the most merciful of those who show mercy. You can see that idafa structure so clearly. Arhamu, most merciful, is immediately followed by the plural ar-Rahimin, the merciful ones.
Okay, so those two methods, they cover most of what you're going to see. But what about the exceptions? You knew there'd be exceptions, right? What happens when a word can't be put into that Af'al pattern? Well, lucky for us, Arabic has a really clever workaround for that too. Let's check out the fine print.
Yeah, think about this. We just learned that words for colors and defects have their own special pattern. So how on earth do you say something is more black or more red? You can't use the standard form we just talked about, so what's the solution? What's the workaround?
Here it is, your solution kit. For things like colors, you bring in a helper word, something like ashaddu, which means more intense, and then you add a second word to explain how it's more intense. It's also worth knowing there are a couple of common irregular words like khayrun for better and sharrun for worse that just kind of do their own thing.
Now that little specifying noun, it has a name. It's called a tamyiz, and its whole job is to remove any ambiguity. So when you say something is more intense, the tamyiz comes in and answers the question, intense in what respect? And it has a fixed uniform. It's always singular, always indefinite, and always in the accusative case.
This verse shows the workaround perfectly. The Bedouins are ashaddu, they are more intense. Okay, intense in what way? The tamyiz clarifies kufran in disbelief and nifaqan in hypocrisy. You can see that helper word plus the specifying noun working together beautifully.
All right, we have covered a ton of ground. We've decoded the main patterns, we've gone over the rules, and we've even looked at the exceptions. So now, let's put everything we've learned into one simple, easy-to-use toolkit.
So really, it all boils down to this. 4 key patterns for your toolkit. Number 1, for comparatives, it's that fixed af'al form plus min. Number 2, for superlatives, you can add all and make it match the noun. Number 3, your other superlative option is that possessive idafa structure. And finally, number 4, for all the exceptions like colors, you just grab a helper word and add a tamyiz. That's it. That is the core of the code.
So we've gone from a simple question all the way to a full set of grammatical keys. But you know, the real journey starts now, for you. As you read, can you start to spot these structures? Can you see the difference between a comparative that uses min and a superlative that uses an idafa? The code is officially in your hands now. Happy decoding.